Let's bow our heads. Our gracious God, once again we come to your presence. Thank you for giving us, thank you for inviting us to participate in your table. As we come to your presence to meditate your word, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, our rock and our redeemer. For our reading and meditation, let's turn our Bibles to the gospel portion that we have already read. Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 1, verses 18 onwards. It's a very familiar passage to all of us. Let me read verse 23. Look, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel. And they shall name him Emmanuel. So every year, just before the Christmas Sunday, we used to meditate on the same passage, the Annunciation to Joseph. And we know the Advent season, as we all know, that begins with some annunciations. Annunciation to Mary, annunciation to Zechariah, Mary, and the annunciation to Joseph, and the visitation of Mary and Elizabeth, and also the birth of John the Baptist, and then Christmas, and also towards the end of the Advent season, we usually meditate this theme, Annunciation to Joseph. So it's a very familiar passage to us. So it's very difficult to prepare a sermon from the familiar passages, because we know whenever we hear a passage, surely many sermons will come to our mind and we will shut off. പ്രയാസമാണെന്നും ഈ ഒരു പാസേജിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രസംഗം ഉണ്ടാക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. But let me share with you some thoughts from this passage, particularly from this theme, Annunciation. Look, the virgin shall become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel. It is the promise of Emmanuel. God is with us. Respect, the word respect. Actually, the word respect can be divided into two. Respect. Take a second look. Respect. A second look. Joseph was a man who was ready to, or he was dare enough to take a second look. Joseph here, we know in the gospel according to St. Matthew, Joseph presented us an example of discipleship. The beginning of the gospel writer presented a perfect disciple. Joseph was presented as a perfect disciple. In Luke's gospel, in the beginning of the Luke's gospel, that narrates the story of Jesus' birth. And that story was in the perspective of Mary. But according to St. Matthew, that narrates the Christmas story in the perspective of Matthew. There is a difference between Matthew's gospel and Luke's gospel. So if you read Matthew's gospel, we can read the Christmas story in the perspective of Matthew. In the Luke's gospel, we can read the Christmas story in perspective of Mary. If we read the John's gospel, we can read another perspective, a theological perspective, or the preeminence of Christ and so on. Jesus was with God and he was word, and so such a theological story we can read from John's gospel. So here it is in the perspective of Matthew. We enter into another Christmas season. When we think about the Christmas, we need to think about so many people who participated in the Christmas story. Joseph was there, Mary, Elizabeth, Zechariah, the shepherds, the Magi, so many people were there who participated in the Christmas story. So God invites people to participate in Christmas or participate in his mission, in his salvation history. So those who responded to that invitation, they have to play their own roles in the same history or in the same story. And also we know, as I said earlier, Christmas story that begins with some annunciations. All the annunciation, as I said in the last in the on the Unity Sunday, annunciation to Virgin Mary. Every annunciation is a call to be disrupted, to be disturbed. So here also is an annunciation to Joseph, is a call to be disturbed. കുറച്ചൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് പ്രയാസപ്പെടാൻ വേണ്ടിയുള്ള വിളിയാണ്. It's the story of the gospel, the promise, Emmanuel, God is with us. And Matthew ends with the gospel with same promise, I will be with you, Emmanuel. So it begins with Emmanuel and ends with Emmanuel. So the entire story or entire gospel of Matthew is in between this one particular promise, Emmanuel will be with us. I will be with you till the end of ages. That is the last promise that we can see in the gospel of Matthew. So here, this story, this annunciation that comes immediately after a genealogy. We know genealogies are boring. Genealogy വായിക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇന്നാരുടെ മകൻ ഇന്നാരുടെ മകൻ ഇന്നാരുടെ പറയുന്നത് വളരെ ബോറിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സംഗതിയാണ്. എല്ലായിടത്തും മകൻ മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ പലപ്പോഴും. മകളെ പലയിടത്തും പറയാറില്ല. This story in the sense the Matthew's gospel, we can see so many women characters are there in the genealogy. I'm not going to that genealogy. But the genealogy that connects to the back, connects to the history. So genealogy connects to the history towards Abraham. So it connects to the past, and also it speaks about the new birth, looking forward to the future. So the Matthew's gospel that begins with genealogy means that connects the entire Christmas story to the past. And also it speaks about a new beginning, a new birth. So it looks forward to the future. So let me share with you two thoughts from this passage. Firstly, take a relook and be open. Take a relook and be open. An unmarried woman, an unplanned pregnancy, unexpected situations. It is hard to imagine. Well, we know surely what will happen, what should happen. So many gossip scandals might be there. Did you hear? There is pregnancy. We never expected this. Mary and Joseph should know better. They aren't even married yet. But Mary is conceived. So many scandals might be there. Many scandals. Surely Joseph heard these whispers, or he might have heard all these scandals. But here, Joseph was ready to take a relook, a second look, a respect into all the scandals. So we know this is what makes no sense to us. Whenever we hear something, we will look into the sense. If it is nonsense to us, surely we will sense on the we dismiss what makes no sense to us. We dismiss people. We dismiss relationship. We dismiss ideas, opportunities, vocations, dreams. All that makes no sense to us. Or that will not come to our explanation. Or that will not suffice our explanation. Because they don't make any sense to us. Of course, Joseph was also a real human, a human being who wanted to divorce her. He took a second look, relook into the situations. So the only reason this could happen because Joseph entrusted himself to the night. To the reasons of day, he entrusted himself to the dream of night, the prayer of night, or the meditations of the night, or the devotion of the night. So the daytime reasons need to be rechecked with nighttime prayers and devotions. The night of faith shows reality to be to be more than that of daytime reasons. പകലിന്റെ റീസൺ കൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ കാണുന്ന പല കാര്യങ്ങളും രാത്രിയിലെ പ്രാർത്ഥന കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് മാറ്റി കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. പക്ഷേ here this is a challenge, a call to us to look into all things in the night of prayers, or the happenings of the daytime, the reasons of the daytime should be checked with the prayer of the night, or the devotions of the night. You know, the name Joseph, that resembles the Joseph of the Old Testament. He was also a dreamer. സ്വപ്നം കാണുന്നവനായിരുന്നു. And maybe this is ഈ ജോസഫ് ഈ ആൾ വന്നത് ആക്സിഡന്റിലാണെന്നില്ല. Might be some connection with the Old Testament Joseph. You know, in the Bible, dreams have an important role. Dreams, because all the people who the dreams in the Bible have some commonality, some common things are there. Dreams announces the interventions of God. Dreams announces that everything is in the hands of God. And dreams announces about a newness. The thing that you are experiencing now will be different in the future. All the dreams gives about a newness, gives about the control of God. God is in control of everything. And surely the situation surrounding with you today will not be the same in the future. Dreams announces a newness. Dreams announces the control of God. So that is very important. Here also, dream of Joseph that announces a newness and the control of God. God is going to intervene, to interact. So here also, in every situations, our interactions with other people, maybe our issues in our life, crises in our life, maybe crisis in the daytime, issues in the daytime, and everything should be checked with the prayer, the night of prayer. So then dreams will announce you, or the night of prayer will give you about the hope of a newness. It will challenge you to look into all things, different point of view, a different vantage point. Take a relook. ആളുകളോടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ ഇടപെടലുകളിലും നമ്മുടെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളിലും ഒക്കെ റീലുക്ക് ആവശ്യമാണ്. If you take a relook, surely you will get another point of view. But the problem is that we are not open to relook into things, to relook into crisis, to relook into ideas. നമ്മൾ അതിനൊന്നും തയ്യാറല്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പ്രശ്നം. But here, Joseph was dare enough to take a retrospect, a respect. Then there, Joseph had a respect towards Mary. Mariye ബഹുമാനിക്കാനുള്ള കാരണം, റെസ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള കാരണം, he was ready to take a respect. So let us take a respect. Secondly, to be a mother. So to be a mother, the annunciation to Mary was a call to be a mother. Annunciation to Joseph was also a call to be a mother. Joseph awoke in the morning and did what he had to do. He began to empty himself. He let go of the fear. He let go of the religious voices and stares. He let go of his doubts and questions. He let go of his own reputation and standing in the community. He let go of his ideas and hopes about his marriage. And he let go of the punishment and everything. With each letting go, Joseph emptied himself so that by God's grace and mercy, he might become, or he could respect, and he could be open to Mary, or he could take Mary as his wife. Empty yourself and see God's grace, God's vocation there. He also annunciation to be a mother. Here, Joseph also got an annunciation to be a mother, carry a womb of his own. Giving protection to the child. And that is important. Protection. He would be the womb that sheltered Mary and Jesus from Herod's rage and the slaughter of innocents. He would be the womb that safely took Mary and Jesus to Egypt. He would be the womb that sustained their lives in the land. He would be the womb that brought them back to Nazareth when the time was right. അതല്ലേ ഒരു അമ്മയുടെ ഉത്തരവാദിത്വം. അതന്നല്ലേ ഇവിടെ ജോസഫും ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Offering security and protection to the child. Offering security and protection to the child. And here he received a scandal. What was the scandal? The scandal of Emmanuel. He was the scandal of Emmanuel. He was ready to be an Emmanuel. ദൈവം നിന്നോട് കൂടെ ഉണ്ട് എന്ന് ജോസഫ് കേട്ടപ്പോ ജോസഫും തയ്യാറായി ടു ബി ഗോഡ് ആൻ ഇമ്മാനുവൽ, മറ്റുള്ളവരോടൊപ്പം ഇരിക്കാൻ. ജോസഫ് വെന്റ്. നമ്മുടെ ഇത് നമുക്ക് വലിയ പ്രതീക്ഷയുള്ളത് ഇതാണ്. ദൈവം നമ്മോട് കൂടെ ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ള ഉറപ്പാണ്. ഇത് നമുക്ക് വലിയ പ്രതീക്ഷയാണ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ഹോപ്പ് ടു ഓൾ ഓഫ് us. Of course, it's a hope, but at the same time, it's a challenge too. When Joseph received the promise of Emmanuel, God is with us, he was dare enough to be with others. He went and he did what God said. He went and he was ready to be with Mary and Joseph. When we hear about God is with us, we should be also ready to be with someone else. Today, most of us became righteous by the expense of the other. But here, Joseph became righteous by being with the other. മറ്റൊരാളെ കുറ്റം പറയുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ നീതിമാനാകുന്നത്, നമ്മൾ നീതിയുള്ളവരാകുന്നത്. എന്റെ അടുത്തിരിക്കുന്ന ആള് അനീതി ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ്, ആ അനീതി എടുത്ത് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഞാൻ നീതിയുള്ളവനാണ്. നമ്മുടെ വീട്ടിലാണെങ്കിലും ഭർത്താവ് നീതിമാനാകുന്നത് ഭാര്യയുടെ കുറ്റത്തിലാണ്, ഭാര്യ നീതിമാനാകുന്നത് ഭർത്താവിന്റെ കുറ്റത്തിലാണ്. ഭർത്താവ് കുറ്റം ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഭാര്യ നീതിയുള്ളവർ. നമ്മൾ കുറ്റം മറ്റുള്ള കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഞാൻ പലപ്പോഴും അങ്ങനെയാണ്, നിങ്ങൾ അങ്ങനെയാണെന്നാണ് എന്റെ വിശ്വാസം. ചിലരെങ്കിലൂടെ മറ്റൊരാളെ കുറ്റം എടുത്ത് പറയുമ്പോഴാണല്ലോ നമ്മൾ നീതിയുള്ളവരാകുന്നത്. But here, Joseph became righteous not by the expense of the other, but he was ready to be with the other. അടുത്ത ആളോട് ചേർന്നിരിക്കാൻ തയ്യാറായപ്പോഴാണ് he became righteous. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള നീതിമാന്മാരും നീതിയുള്ളവരാകാനാണ് ക്രിസ്മസ് നമ്മളോട്. It's a challenge to be righteous, not by the expense of the other, but be ready to be with the other. Then be a righteous person. Two things I just wanted to share with you. One, take a relook into all things that comes to your mind. നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലേക്ക് വരുന്ന എല്ലാ ആളുകളോടും എല്ലാ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളോടും ഒരു റീലുക്ക് എടുക്കാൻ നമുക്ക് സാധിക്കണം. Take a relook. Secondly, be ready to be a mother. Be ready to be a righteous mother. ഒരു നീതിയുള്ള അമ്മയായി മാറാനാണ്. എങ്ങനെയാണ്? പ്രൊട്ടക്ഷൻ കൊടുക്കുമ്പോഴാണ്, കൂടെയുള്ളവർക്ക് ചേർന്നിരിക്കുന്നവരെയൊക്കെ ചേർത്ത് പിടിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ്, മറ്റുള്ളവരുടെ കുറ്റം കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുമ്പോഴല്ല, മറിച്ച് നീതിയുള്ളവരായി തീരുന്നത് മറ്റുള്ളവരോട് ചേർന്നിരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ്. May God bless us to be righteous like Joseph, be a mother like Joseph, and may God help us to take a relook into all the issues that happen to your life. May God bless us. One of you can lead us in prayer.